All right, sorry about that, guys. It's the world of technology sometimes isn't always as rewarding as you would hope. So let's hope everything else goes smoothly. So Jim Simpson is the appointed chair for Planning and Zoning Commission. He is out of town and unable to attend in person, has agreed, because we have technical difficulties, that we should probably nominate a chair that's here in person. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:06 PM. And then I would look for a nomination from a commissioner for the planning and zoning chair.
I nominate Colleen Little to chair tonight.
And I'll second.
Thank you. All right, Colleen. You are the lucky one.
Thank you.
And so now you can continue on the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks for
Good luck.
calling us to order. Brandy and Rachel, if you would please note the roll call. And Mike, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, state, to the republic which stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Make any comments, edits, remarks? Oh, I have to turn it on. That's. I'm sorry. Okay, approval of the minutes from the June 24th, 2025 meeting. We're gonna take those separately, the June 24th and July 22nd. Move to approve. Doug makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shannon. Comments, additions, edits? I have just one little one from the June 24th meeting. Under 5.5, paragraph 7, just a typo. Mr. Lawton has an extra N in his name, Lawnton. If we could fix that. All those in favor of approving the June 24th minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously.
Co-host.
The July 22nd, 2025 minutes, is there a motion?
A motion for approval.
Motion by Mike, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shannon. Any comments, edits, additions on that one? I do have one on that also on under 5.2, paragraph 6. It indicates that Little asked about the hours of Meeks Auto, and that was actually Commissioner Simpson. All those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying yes. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Do we have appearances before the commission tonight? Anyone wishing to speak? No? Okay.
I don't have anybody that registered.
Then we will go to at 6:11. Oh, excuse me. Jim, go ahead.
No, I was just unable to unmute during those votes. I just wanted to note that I said aye for both of the minutes.
Duly noted.
Yep, we
Thank
got
you.
you set up for to be a co-host, so you can't unmute now, Jim. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, next is a public hearing to consider a proposed amendment number 4 to the previously approved project plan for tax incremental district number 7 in the village of DeForest. We will open that public hearing at 6:11 PM. Is there anyone wishing to speak? No one? I guess we will close that public hearing at 6:12 PM. Next is a discussion and action on a resolution recommending and adopting a proposed amendment number 4 to the previously approved project plan for tax incremental district number 7 in the village of DeForest. And we will now open that discussion. Bill, would you like to lead off on that?
Yeah, I could provide a presentation here first and then answer any questions that you may have. So we are proposing an amendment, this is amendment number 4 to tax increment district number 7. And for reference here, if I can, tax increment district number 7 is in the southeastern part of DeForest. It's in the northern east quadrant of Highway 19, going west to east here, and Highway 51 going north to south here. So this in the yellow is TID 7 currently, and includes Hooper Corporation, the Frito-Lay facility, and also includes businesses along Loftus Road and Reardon Road. So as part of this tax increment district, or as part of all of our tax increment districts, annually we look at the timeline, the life schedule left in the tax increment districts. If you remember, we've amended one or more every year, the last 3 years, and it's intentional in that we are looking at the expenditure deadlines of each tax increment district and to see what opportunities there may be. Also, we want to line up the projected revenues and expenditures so that the tax increment districts may close at different dates. One of the concerns I had coming in initially was when I looked at all the closing dates for the statutory closing dates for all the tax increment districts. We had a bunch of them closing in the same year. And so strategically it made sense, and financially it made sense to kind of separate them. So for TID number 7, what we are proposing is both a boundary amendment and then the plan and budget amendment. And I'll go ahead and walk through some of that detail now. If you have any questions, feel free again to stop me. Let's see here. So these are the exhibits. So I'll be kind of jumping around here just to make the presentation more efficient. Get you a good map here. So if you remember that yellow area, that's highlighted in the blue outline here. That's TID number 7. We are proposing removing this parcel that's highlighted in red. It's currently used for ag and farming. And in speaking with the current owner of that property, there is no development prospect before the tax increment district expenditure closure or expenditure deadline, which is next June. So we're proposing removing that. We did leave the other 40 acres that is owned by the same property owner in case something does happen. At least we'd have a portion of their property available for development. And then we are proposing to add these 2 parcels in Savannah Brooks. These are the 2 remaining commercial properties or parcels currently used for farming, but does have that PDP in Savannah Brooks to the tax increment district. It does cross over Highway 19 here, and then includes a portion of Monticello Drive. We decided to include it because we do have a prospective developer who was interested in developing that and would utilize tax incentives, and that's we have more information about that in the rest of the budget here. So I'll pause there to see if there's any questions about the boundaries before I jump into some of the projects and the changes in budget.
Questions? Anyone?
Okay.
Nope.
So as far as budget, I think there's a page here that explains it well. Give me a minute to get there. So you'll see in this table, the different categories of how we budgeted or we categorize the budget in the tax increment district plan. The current amendment, the current plan is amendment number 3. And so these are the current limits within the plan. What all in this column here, total of approximately $31 million in expenditures. So I just want to say that when budgeting in tax increment districts, it creates the opportunity, not necessarily the obligation. So it provides a capacity for the village to utilize it as incentives. And so staff, as we go and as developers come, we look at the forecasting for each tax increment district before taking on a tax increment financing deal or taking on a public infrastructure project within the tax increment district to ensure that revenues are able to meet the expected costs before taking on that project together. So in amendment number 4, we are proposing an increase of approximately $9 million. You can see 8.7 here. The increases are about $23,000 in infrastructure construction. So what we're doing there is we're removing the street project from the 40 acres that was removed that's being proposed to be removed from the tax increment district. And we're adding a project to construct a roundabout at Peterson Crossing and Williamsburg Way. That segment off of Williamsburg Way north to Peterson Crossing would likely have a access point for the commercial lots right in that corner. It's our experience in talking with developers along the way that are right in at that spot is very helpful for developers in the future. And so that's the major public project change that we are proposing in the plan. You can see the next 2 items, the TID bond principal and TID bond interest in amendment number 3, that is specific to the Hooper Corporation, CAH DeForest development. And so there's some adjustments there from what was budgeted to what was actual. So we actually reduced the actual amounts that were put into the development agreement with Hooper. The property acquisition line, we had about 600,000 in amendment number 3. We are reducing that to 160,300. And the reason for that is instead of us acquiring the land, we were able to recruit a business to come in and acquire the land in our place. And so we didn't need that. We don't necessarily need that funding in that plan anymore since the property is now developed. And because we were successful, we have less administrative costs and less financing costs. The big item here is you will see a significant increase in development incentives, again, providing opportunity here. And again, this is because we've had early discussions with a developer that would come in and bring the additional development with increment that would be able to suffice a pay gold bond for the $10 million amount. Happy to go through any other part of the TID amendment proposal or any of the maps that you see here. We do have a resolution added as part of the packet. As far as timeline goes, once and if the Planning and Zoning Commission does approve and recommend the plan and the changes, we have it scheduled to go to the village board meeting next Tuesday. And then we have a joint review board meeting on next Thursday. Once and if each of those bodies approve, This will then get filed with the Department of Revenue. And then we can look at development agreements with developers thereafter. Since we are amending the boundary, there is a statute that says that we have, since we're over the 12% equalized value TID in versus TID out, we do have to remove more value from the tax increment district that we put in there. And that's what we're doing here by removing the 40 acres of farmland and adding approximately 16 acres back in. We've sent the analysis over to our assessor, and he has confirmed that we are removing more value than we are currently adding in.
Questions from anyone? Just, we have businesses ready to start working, start developing?
So we are actively discussing a couple different projects with potential developers in tax increment district number 7, which would benefit from these changes.
Good. Well, in light of not having any further discussion or questions, let us move to action on the resolution recommending and adopting the proposed amendment number 4 to TID number 7. Is there a motion to approve? Jim?
Colleen, I'll make a motion. I think this is is it a motion to approve or a motion to recommend? Sorry.
Recommend.
I'm sorry, it's a motion recommending.
It's
Actually, it's approve. Okay.
right.
Right. So I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as written.
A motion by Jim Simpson to approve the resolution as written. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shannon. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
All those opposed indicate by saying no. Motion carries unanimously. Next up, discussion and recommendation on a 3-lot certified survey map dividing parcel number 0910-184-8191-4 located north of South Street and south of Campbell Hill Court in the village of DeForest. Brandy Cooper, would you like to fill us in on that?
I can get us started for sure. So in your packet was, boy, that's awfully loud. There. Sorry. All I was hearing was myself. Yes, please. So in your packet, you had a staff report, and then a ordinance and a certified survey map. The property owners, I'm not gonna attempt the last name pronunciation. Maybe they are all in attendance here if there's questions, and they could maybe clarify that when if you have questions and they come up to speak. But what they're looking to do is divide the large parcel that is located currently on South Street. Many people in DeForest recognize this as the parcel that had the horse for many, many, many years. So just to give you guys kind of an idea of where that parcel is located. We're looking at doing a 3-lot certified survey map with public dedication of some right of way. So tonight, the P and Z Commission would be recommending Village Board approval of the certified survey map because there is public dedication. So just to clarify that, I'm going to go into the motion. The certified survey map, like I mentioned, was for 3 lots. The division that they are working through does meet the standards of the zoning district for that division. There are a couple things I just want to bring to your attention regarding the CSM. And they are conditions that are in the ordinance as well. But I just want to bring them to your attention. First of all, like I said, this is going to the village board for final approval because of the public dedication of some right of way. We didn't have right of way there along South Street like we should have, so this is helping to correct that. So if we do improvements, we're able to do so. In timing wise, we did not get the 60-year title report. So one of the conditions of the approval of the ordinance is that they need to provide us with a title report. And any easements or encumbrances that are on there should be clearly identified on a CSM prior to it being recorded. There is, this land does contain a lot of woods, and so it does meet our woodland preservation and requirements. So we'll need to have a woodland preservation or mitigation plan from them as part of the final approval for this. So they'll need to provide that to us, letting us know what's going to happen with the woods that are there, whether they are, you know, the tree study does show that they're all good trees. There might be junk trees, things like that in there. So that is also a condition of approval. So the way that this is set up is one lot is going to be attached to South Street, and 2 lots will be on Campbell Hill Court, which is up the hill behind the property. The 1 lot will access onto South Street, the other 2 will access onto Campbell Hill Court. Currently, there is a driveway access located, can you take me to GIS? Located on the parcel that, let me just get us off there. I can just slide in a little bit. You can see that there's a driveway access already on this parcel that leads to the neighboring parcel. So the property owner here has access to their property through the driveway that is on their side. The CSM does recognize that there is a recorded easement document, but we don't have said document. We can't, it's not, we're not able to locate it through searching records and all of that stuff through the Register of Deeds. So there's a couple of options that can happen here, is that the CSM actually changes and this could be deeded over to the other property owner, or a new access easement needs to, or agreement needs to be put in place, because if anybody were to build on this parcel, they cannot have another driveway on South Street. They already have the access that's here. They cannot add another one unless they got a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals, which, you know, you have to prove hardships and things like that through. So the recommendation would be to, you know, get an access agreement into place to potentially avoid any future who's maintaining the driveway, who's, you know, responsibility is it to plow it and do all of that other stuff, and to ensure that both properties have access to their property. So that is also listed as a condition in the ordinance as well. Street trees are required to be installed as part of development according to village ordinance. There are street trees already on the South Street side of these parcels, but there are not street trees on Campbell Hill Court. I did talk to Greg over at Public Works. He kind of looked in the area, thought, you know, try to balance out how many trees would make sense to be put in Candlehorn to space it out, to be in compliance with the 50 feet along the street according to our ordinance, things like that. We settled on the option is that the property owners can have the street trees planted at the time of building permit. So if they develop on the lot or they sell the lot and somebody else develops it, the street trees have to be installed, or they can give the village the value of what it costs for 5 street trees that we hold in an escrow account. And then once those 2 lots that are to the north are developed, then we will come in and plant the street trees. That is the village's preference, simply because we don't know about driveway locations right now. When sites are developed, that's typically when it's decided where the driveway is going to land. And installing street trees prior to knowing driveway locations could mean pulling the trees out, and losing them and having to replant. So that also is a condition that is in the ordinance as well, is working out the installation or the payment in escrow for the street trees. Any questions so far? Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything important here. One of the things that we did want to discuss, and the applicants are here, so we may ask you to come up to do a little bit of clarification, but it's really, help me find the CSM. Sorry, my eyes don't work very well with the screen. So the way that they have the lots laid out complies with the bulk standards for the village for lot size, frontage, all of those sorts of things. But if you look at the CSM map, the lots are a little wonky, right? They're not rectangular, they're not squared off. There's some pieces where, and Mark has made a good point, the neighbors are not gonna know where they live or where their property lines are, things like that, right? Those are things that we deal with on the backside of residential life, probably every day. And so we're looking for a little bit of clarification on why the lots are set up, the way that they are. Can we not just run a straight lot line rather than having, these kind of funky pieces over here and things of that sort? So I think that I would let you, once we're done with the discussion and going through everything, if you want to invite them up, and then maybe you guys can address, the layout of the lots, and things of that for us. So I think I've hit pretty much everything. There is a barn that is currently located on that, South Street, parcel. It can remain as a legal non-conforming use, but has to comply with our legal non-conforming use portion of our zoning ordinance, to where, they can do updates to it, more than 50% can't be replaced, so on and so forth. There's a laundry list of things they have to comply with. Right now, the barn can stay. And they would be able to still develop a single family home on that parcel. So I think I'm done rambling. I don't know if there's any questions on anything that I brought up, or if we want to bring the applicants up to have a little discussion.
Could you explain the dedication of right of way? I'm not understanding what that is.
Sure. So down here on the southern portion of the site, there was no public right of way dedicated for improvement to the road, right? So if we need to come in, do any improvements, curb, sidewalk, redo the road, things like that, it didn't match up with the 33-foot that was already in existence for, you can see it kind of here along the other parcels. There was no public dedication along that parcel. So in order to remedy that and keep it consistent with what we have along South Street for the right of way, we requested that they dedicate the 33 feet as well.
Thank you.
Right now, that's just in what's called a prescriptive easement. And it means the village has the right to run a road there, but the property owner owns it. With the dedication, the property owner would be giving the land to the village outright.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, then let's bring Mr., Mrs., whoever we all have here, Nielsen up.
I'm sorry, I just didn't want to slaughter.
I'm sorry.
Brothers, sisters, relatives, friends, neighbors. Nelson Stone? Thank you.
For the record, if each of you before speaking would identify yourselves and give your address and then go ahead.
My name is Eliza Roberts. I live at 325 South Street, which is directly across from this parcel facing South Street.
Mark Nelson's doing 329. Mark Nelson's doing 329 South Street,
He is the property owner
property owner. Yeah.
and a neighbor adjacent to me, to us.
You want to fill us in on,
Sure, I can talk about the odd configuration of this. Essentially, when the Nilsa students wanted this property to go up for sale, a group of three neighbor families decided that we would like to purchase that property. We all live next to, or in my case, across the street from the parcel. The other two parties live on the edges of the parcel. And we decided we wanted to go ahead and purchase it and divide it. Our intent is not to develop it, but to keep it as open space, just as it always has been for years and years. And the odd shapes have to do with where the others live and just a basic effort to try to equalize the size of the pieces and allow each of us to have access to those pieces from our own properties. So, for example, we live right across the street from lot 3 that's indicated there. And of course, that is just directly next to us. The second party lives directly below lot 2 at, what's your address, Seth? 334 South Street. That's lot 2. And lot 1 is the person responsible for that lives on, is it Stone Ridge Terrace? Stone Ridge Terrace, and backs up to that lot 1, about the second lot up from the south. So that is simply it. We have no plans to develop. We just wanted to kind of try to equalize the parcels, have right access from our own properties and share the costs as equally as seemed possible.
and it's just intended to stay green space for all?
Yeah, yep, that we have no development ideas at all. We just want to maintain what we've always had there. We've lived there for 32 years. The other neighbors have lived there for tens of years and have enjoyed that space as open space, and we just want to preserve it that way. So no intent to do anything more than maybe remove some scrub trees.
So Mark is the owner and you're selling.
I am one of 3 owners. My 2 brothers and I inherited the land in 2011.
Okay.
If I could just say, all this is perfectly cool. And so the land can be divided in this way. There's no restriction against it. This land division will outlast the people in this room. So we just want to make sure that it's well planned for when others might want to develop it. And so things like setting setback lines and other things, it's going to be important. Figuring out where the front yard of some of these and the side yards is hard. And I'd rather have that decided now for the future rather than push a problem 100 years to someone else.
Yeah, come on up and tell us who you are and your address and then go ahead.
John Crawford, 417 Stone Ridge. In regards to coming up with like what you're discussing, I struggle with that because we have no idea what things will be like in 100 years and things do change. And so I also don't want to set a precedent this soon so that we then put ourselves in a position where then we have to back up or something can't be done in the future. Campbell Hill can change. There's a lot of things that can change in development. Being that as this will outlive, somebody else would have to sit in this chair and argue why they want what they want the way they want it. And I don't think that we should necessarily have to figure out how something in the future, 100 years would look. I think that would be up to a future owner if they want to put a house or develop. That would be their responsibility, not ours to predict what somebody else might want.
I disagree. Thanks.
Since we don't have any designs for development, we haven't considered that. And so I wonder how would we go about that?
So setbacks are established by zoning rule. So you're in an R1 zoning.
Right.
district. I don't have them memorized.
Yeah,
But let's just say for the sake of argument, side yards are 8 feet.
Yep.
We have to, and rear yards are 25 feet. Given the irregular nature of this division, it would be good to understand which is the rear yard of some of these lots and which are the side yards. I imagine we're gonna have a lot of more sides yards than rear ones.
yeah. Okay.
But punting that issue down the road, to me, is not what we do as planners. We try to sort them out, and despite your intentions today, people change and intentions also change from time to time. So we want to make sure that, especially given these lots are, I'll just say weird, she used wonky, that and they are zoned for development.
Yeah.
That we want to make sure that they're properly set up for development.
So you would require us to provide mapping of what we think a single family home would be on each of these lots? Or-
No, it's simpler than that.
Okay,
I think it's pretty basic, and it's a matter of placing dashed lines on this map, and Brandy and I can help with that.
Okay.
To say, here's what we think the minimum front yard setback is, and here's where we think the front yard is. Here's where we think the minimum side yard setbacks are, and here's where we think are the yards that are side yards, and then the same for rear yards. Then you're gonna find that the building envelope, so to speak, is quite large for someone in the future. And no, it's not a matter of identifying where precisely you would have to put your house. It's how close can you put your house to the property lines?
got it.
So there might
Where
be
you're
some
creating
misunderstanding.
a box basically, and it's gonna fit in there, and this is the side, this is the front, this is the back.
That's right.
Right,
I know. I'm just-
Yeah,
I guess where I'm confused is that the only way to access, for example, lot 1 and 2, the only way to access it is from Campbell Court.
right.
So we're limited into where a driveway could be placed, like that has to be the front.
I think we're misunderstanding
Yeah.
one another.
So,
We're not limiting, you're
I'm
gonna
not
put the driveway.
no, I think what we're looking at, let me just, so on the mouse on the screen, so the zoning ordinance for residential districts, like Mark was saying, says it has a, I'm gonna make it up, so don't hold me to these exact numbers, a front yard setback of 25 feet, a rear yard setback of 25 feet, and side yards of 8. What we're looking at is putting dashed lines on the lot showing where that 25-foot starts from the front yard, where the 8 feet starts from the side yards, and where the 30 would be, or 25 would be in the back.
Yeah.
So at least you were not saying you have to put a house in this exact location, but what we're saying is that these are the setbacks, according to the zoning ordinance, that you have to comply with to eventually put a house on that property. So it's little dashed lines that basically show those setbacks.
Other than making sure we stay within the range.
Correct.
Anywhere.
That is correct. That is correct. You could build anywhere within those setback boundaries. You don't have to decide now where a house is gonna go. But you're just showing where, so when somebody else or you decide to develop it in the future, you're aware of where a house can actually fit.
Makes sense.
and meet
So-
the zoning
So the
codes.
front and the back are important here.
Right, exactly.
Sides, are the sides, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's basically where your buildable site is
Got it.
going to be.
All right. Well,
Good.
that can be done.
Okay.
Anything else you want us to know?
And I'll just say, we worked with your surveyor a lot, so we'd be happy to communicate with him too.
Be done during post-
No, that's a condition of approval on the ordinance. So once village board, if they choose to approve the ordinance, that's one of the conditions that was listed there. And then those things will all just need to be done, before, certain things are prior to recording, certain things are prior to us issuing a building permit, things like that. So, yeah, and this will be a recorded document on all three of those parcels. So then everybody has got the same stuff.
You want to address the easement thing, Mark?
I can. So I have a copy of the right-of-way easement. It's an unsigned copy, right? That was originally, this is a copy from when my parents originally split off a lot that has the easement driveway. So I have a copy of it. It's not signed. That's why I didn't submit it. 'Cause it's not signed by anybody, right? I talked to the current property owner at 326 South Street. They remember signing the easement when they bought the house in the last year or so, 2 years ago. So he's contacting
Okay.
he's working on obtaining that. But it does lay out who's responsible for maintenance, who's responsible for snow removal, maintenance of the road, that both parties have access and can drive on the road. If you want to read through the copy.
I mean,
Here.
I'd love to be able to get a copy. Is this a copy that we can have? We'll make a copy of it? Yeah, that would be good. Some of it was.
So
Aluminum to one driveway. Don't remember. Sorry, I'm just,
The zoning ordinance allows one driveway per lot. And that driveway for proposed lot 3 has been used up.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just so you understand that,
yeah,
until and unless there's some land swap between you and the owner to the east.
Right. Yep, we understand that and that could definitely be a possibility when and if somebody wants to develop it. Yeah,
okay,
but we understand that's a condition of going forward with building permit, et cetera. So,
okay.
Thank you, folks.
thank you.
I have one question if I can
Yeah,
ask.
go ahead.
Trees on Campbell Hill Court. I struggle, should those trees have not gone in when Campbell Hill Court was developed?
Street trees,
The
yeah.
street trees, yes.
A good question.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
And Hoffman developed that a number of years ago, and I would have thought that would have been part of the requirements of the development of that road.
And unfortunately, I don't know the history behind that, or the ordinances could have been different.
Yeah.
Ordinance could have been different at the time that it was developed too, and the requirements now, are different. So,
It's simply a question.
yeah,
So that's a requirement that would kick in only if and when someone pulled a building permit. So if the
Right.
intent holds true, you're not going to be
Yep.
planting trees.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you guys for the clarifications.
Everybody on the commission good? Anybody have any questions? Mike?
Just one, will the beer garden continue?
Will the beer garden continue?
We've done garden.
Okay,
Oh, okay, sure.
nice.
Yes.
So
I know.
Okay. You're done. Okay. Anyone else? That's a different commission.
Yeah, that's somebody else, Mike. Yeah. No,
So we are
you're gonna be recommending.
recommend to the village board approval of dividing the parcel or the certified survey map, dividing the parcel into 3 lots. Is there a motion?
I will motion.
Motion by Mike, is there a second? Second by Doug. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 I,
No?
Jim voted aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. We shall recommend to the village board that that survey map be approved. Next up. Discussion and action on a final development plan for the River Road MF LLC. Multiple unit residential development on 10.57 acres northeast of the River Road Bellflower Drive intersection within the Conservancy Place planned unit development. And we do have a team here for presentation, and we will lead off with Mark Roffers.
If you guys want to just come up to the table while I kick it off, that would be just great. This is a approximately 10 acre site. It's the vacant land in between the athletic complex and the Bellflower Court condominium development. This land is designated within the Conservancy Place PUD's preliminary development plan for multiple family housing. And the 226 units they propose fits within the maximum density requirements for this lot and are also within the cap on how many multiple family units can be built in Conservancy Place as a whole. So what we're really looking at here tonight is not whether there should be apartments on this site, but how the apartments are laid out and do they meet the qualitative standards of the ordinance and some of the quantitative standards, parking and things like that. The applicants who are here tonight are going to present their project. We have worked with us over the past few months on various iterations of the plans, including the ones now in your packet. So the number of comments we have on a project this significant is not as great as it often is. And so we appreciate that opportunity to work with them on really refining the plans over the last few months. And with that, I'll close my comments and be ready for discussion after the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I'm Connor Net with Forward Development Group.
Can you pull your microphone closer to you, please? I'm having a
Here we go.
hearing. And again,
Better?
address.
Yeah,
please.
so I'm with Forward Development Group and we're located in Verona, which is 507 West Verona Avenue. If you need a personal address, it's in Monona, 4711 Roygan Terrace. So we're excited to be here this evening. Again, my name is Connor. This is AJ, who is with the project architecture team with Angus Young. So after Forward Development Group, we're located in Verona, as I mentioned, and we are developers focused mostly or almost exclusively in Dane County, multifamily housing, land development, like single family subdivisions, and commercial retail development are the 3 areas that we focus in. And the main one before you this evening would be multifamily. Within Dane County, we've created over 650 multifamily housing units. And here are some local examples. The closest one being the terraces at Windsor Crossing. You can actually, so there's 3 buildings pictured here. There's 2 other buildings. They're all built in phases, one at a time. So this is just south of, this is the Quick Trip right up here on Windsor Road. And this is Northtown Road heading south in Windsor. The other local example on the other slide would be the Crest in Wanakee. That building completed 2 years ago is a 78-unit multifamily building. And then phase 2 of that project is breaking ground in September. And there's a phase 3, which has 50 units as well. So projects that we typically do are similar in size to this River Road project before you this evening. So we're excited about the River Road project because of the being able to work within the existing general development plan and the underlying zoning. And it's a style of multifamily development that we're familiar with. We think the project creates a good transition in density for the higher density being along River Road to the condo development further to the east. When the Belfar Point project was created, the adjacent condos, the stormwater plan was done for this project as well. And one thing that we wanted to highlight is that they had anticipated 51% of the project site being impervious surfaces or hard surfaces. Currently, our design is at 43%, which is 8% more green space than anticipated. And one of the natural features on the project site, although a very flat site, was the swale that ran through the center of the site. And it was important for us to utilize that or focus on it rather than putting that in a pipe right away and putting it into the stormwater bases. We try to work with the existing site features, and so the buildings became a more interesting boomerang kind of shape. So as you're driving down River Road, the kind of facades will change a little bit with that, and in response to the existing site features well. When we were meeting with the residents, the other piece that came up with them, residents of the Bellflower Point just to the east, which is planned north here. We wanted to increase the number of evergreens along that screening. That was important to them. So between the evergreen screenings and the existing trees that are along that property line, which will be maintained because they're on the Bellflower Point side of the property line, we think we've established a good buffer to the neighbors. And then the last point I would like to make, just related to comments we've received from neighbors relating to lighting. Two things that we've done is more of an interior focused parking lot here between the two buildings in phase 1 and phase 2. And then this parking lot being on the opposite side or closer to River Road. So all site lighting is really focused interior or towards more the active side of the street. That way they're not being bugged by cars driving at night or I guess just light pollution in general, even though we're meeting the lighting requirement, but trying to reduce spillover as much as possible. So in closing, thank you for being able to share a little bit about the project and ourselves. It's been great to work with the village staff and the adjacent neighbors. And we think that this is a good way to further the development of Conservancy Place. So AJ and I will be available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and points to you for meeting with the neighbors. I was up there this morning and talked to a gentleman who was out, and he's like, "You're where there's an apartment." Oh, no. We talked to him, as long as they keep the trees, put the evergreens in. And you guys are gonna keep the trees and you're gonna put, yeah, okay. Because he was worried about having to look at the backside of an apartment building during the winter, and I don't blame him. So, points to you. And you also indicated you are not lighting any area around your swimming pool at night, right?
Not actively. So there are decorative lights on the side of the building to provide a low light level. So they'll be not bright enough or encourage activity, but bright enough to provide a decorative quality.
Good idea.
Our neighborhood meeting too, just as a side note, was in early July in a non-air conditioned garage. So we sweated it out a little bit, but it was good.
Does anyone on the committee have any questions? Jim, do you have any questions?
I had some.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shannon.
No, that's okay. My concern is the outlets on River Road. Was any consideration, there's a lot of cars that park along River Road when there's tournaments that go on all weekend, and very often on a Saturday and Sunday, it's lined on both sides. So when traffic's coming out of those outlets and into that, you've got cars on both sides, you've got a car coming at you, there's people walking. It just gets very congested, and I would be concerned that something could happen with the outlets going out on River Road. That's the only place they can go out, of course. But I think we need to be mindful of that with the amount of parking that goes along River Road with those tournaments. So just something I've observed personally.
I think you probably noticed this, but they're one driveway to building C. If we, could we get the site plan view? There we go. It's labeled phase 3. That's directly across from the main entrance to the, so there's already kind of an opening built for that driveway there. Their second one is at the north end of the site, quite a distance away. Recognizing there is parking on that street, there will need to be probably no parking zones established near both of those. That perhaps people are even parking really close to the main driveway right now. So that's definitely, and that's sort of on the village to monitor there to keep it safe.
Anyone else? Jim, do you have anything?
Jim has his hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Yep, I'll say, can you hear me okay?
A little louder.
Don't know exactly where my mic is, but hopefully you can hear me okay. I had 4 sort of quick things and I talked it over with Mark. So I don't know, Mark, if you can point out where I'm talking to. I know there's the trail that's to the north, on the north property line. And what I was hoping to have included in your plan is an internal connection to that trail from, I think it's Building A's sidewalk. So I just suspect what's going to happen is that people will want to use that trail to, say, get to the Yahara River, and people will likely shortcut, say, through the ditch. So I would like if you can provide that connection. You see what I'm saying? You know, Mark's showing.
I think the mouse is highlighting it there, but that was a requirement of adding that. So from River Road up to the existing trail and what is now the plan northwest corner or the northeast corner, in reality, there is a trail included on our plans as a part of the project.
So
yeah, but I'm asking for your sidewalk to connect to it.
So you see where I'm kind of tracing?
Yep.
Now with the mouse, he's asking, could we make a connection across to that path?
More or less a private connection for your residents, but just knowing how many people's living there, I think it would be good.
An attractor, I mean, part of the reason probably you're attracted to the site is your residents are going to want to access the trail network. It would probably require some adjustment to the stormwater, where the stormwater outlets there.
Yeah, rather than outletting where it's currently shown, I think we could just extend that, say 50 feet or something north, and then outlet it at that point. And then that would mean we could cross without having to get complicated with a culvert and things like that. So I don't think that would be a problem.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think it's a nice benefit to your residents. So, okay, so that was one of them. And then the other sidewalk one I wanted to bring up is your Building C. And yeah, and there, I just feel like, say, the residents in Building C, when they want to go to the pool, they might, say, shortcut the sidewalk and go straight to River Road. You see what I'm saying? And Mark's showing it again. And I'm personally think it's fine if you want to put that sidewalk in. What I'd prefer not to happen is have a goat path worn from people doing that. So I guess what I would ask is that you either put the sidewalk in to make that connection, or say put up a fence or additional landscaping to prevent people from creating that goat path. And I don't know, Mark, if you want to speak it, I think you're more in favor for, say, trying to keep that from happening and maybe put evergreen shrubs in there or something, or you want to state your opinion, Mark?
Yeah, my opinion would be to add some viburnum or some other, lower to mid-level shrubs, a row of 5 of them.
Yeah.
And have people work their way to the sidewalks that you have. You've got a generous sidewalk plan. I don't want you to overbuild a sidewalk either.
I think we could make a slight modification to the landscape plan to accommodate that. And then most people the elevators are located in the center of the building. So they will be coming from that center point, but that doesn't mean we can't make a specific effort with the landscaping that's planned to really make it difficult for people to come out of that wing and try to cut the corner. So I think that'd be fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I'll say my third comment has to do, I think you're calling it a dog park is what I see on the screen. And I'm questioning how much thought you've put into that because I didn't see any details. And I guess why I bring it up is it's a rather, say, square amenity when everything else is more sort of flowing and natural. So I wonder if you want to change the shape. And I would also think you'd want to have more than one connection to it. Say between building A, you sort of have a connection, but also have one to building B. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah, so for that one, the reason we did it this size, and we looked at various examples in the area, and that roughly 50 by 50 space is pretty consistent with housing developments in the area that we've found. And we're trying to concentrate the end to one entrance point, so we're not maintaining 2 gates and things like that. So it's not intended if you want to spend the afternoon with your dog, you'd go to a dog park. It's really just for brief activity outside. So we would like to concentrate that on one path, one entrance as much as possible. So I think that it would be our preference that people would use a sidewalk around and enter at that location. But if we're finding that there's goat paths or something, it's kind of on us to maintain the project site in that way, to make sure that that's not being trampled. So we talked about that a lot internally as well, but this is kind of what we came to: focus the entrance near the building A where all the common amenities are. So people are kind of coming from that direction to that location. So
Okay.
that's
I'm
our
good with
thought on
that, knowing that you've thought that through. The one additional comment I will make though is I prefer for it to have like an ADA compliance. I know you've got the handicap parking there, but I think it'd be good to have a crosswalk to get to the sidewalk. I'm just a little bit concerned that you might have a resident that, say, is in a wheelchair and they'll want to maybe take their dog for a walk. See what I'm getting at?
From
Yeah.
building A, you mean?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If we're showing I'm not seeing them on this image, but I think we're showing crossings and painting at all other locations. So probably would be good to match that there.
Yep. Yep. So I guess those are really my 3 requests as far as, I don't know, Mark, if it needs to be put in the conditions or if it's already can be included with, say, what we have.
It seems like they're pretty friendly, Jim, and they're willing to do these things. So we could try to craft them into conditions, but if you guys are just okay with it, sort of a handshake, they seem fairly minor. If it's okay with the commission as well.
Yeah, is there a catch-all in the condition that I recall that in any other comments approved by the village plan? Usually there is.
We
but-
will
Right,
have them
right.
in a
That's
minute,
what I was
then
questioning.
we'll have
Yeah.
them in a minute, and we'll have you guys agreeing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And the 4th thing that I just stated is just to think about the bicycle racks. And I'm just wondering if you want to have more racks by the pool, if that becomes a destination more, but I don't want to make that any condition. And I'm sure you thought that through. And I suspect if it does become an issue, it'd be an easy add. So that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless anybody else has an objection, I agree with Mark that these guys seem nice enough that they'll probably be agreeable without us changing everything.
Yeah, I guess if, just to be clear and not to give them a free pass, if these were big issues or big ticket items that I think we might have some struggle on, then I would suggest a condition, but it doesn't seem like they are.
Right. And I suspect, you the architect of this plan,
Yes, I am.
probably not your first rodeo, huh?
No, it's not.
Okay. So you probably thought about some of this stuff too.
We've had some active discussions along the way, and obviously, working with staff and Mark along the way, there's been quite a few comments and quite a few things that we've ironed out today. So we're really happy and excited about the plan where it is.
Good. Great. Anybody have any questions on the committee?
I would add it is a beautiful plan in my opinion too. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, if there's no further discussion here, then let's see, what are we doing? Final action on a plan? I guess we are the final action, huh?
This would be a final development plan approval resolution. There's a resolution. Oh, I've got control. Shoot. Heavens. Yeah, if you could, I don't know where. There's a resolution in your packet. It's resolution 2025-914. It includes the approval, some conditions. The conditions just tie them to the plans that were in your packet. They specify items that need to be taken care of related to stormwater management, erosion control, and development agreement before any building permits. We do have a public path connection that would be part of this project at the north end, right between the memory care facility and this. That'll allow a connection between the Upper Yahara path and the River Road path. There are some minor items that I'm suggesting be cleaned up in the letter of intent and in the plans, very much in the picky detail category. They have, in addition to working with us, they work with police and especially fire and addressed a lot of all the fire department comments that have been provided to them. I can answer any questions about the resolution, but that's the summary of it.
Anyone have anything? Well,
I would recommend that we approve the resolution. And if you could just help me with the language.
You can just say resolution 2025-914, period.
that'll work.
Yes, resolution 2025-914, period.
Motion by Doug. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Our next topic is a discussion and recommendation on certified survey map dedicating stormwater outlot and easements for the River Road MF LLC, multiple family residential development on 10.57 acres northeast of River Road and Bellflower Drive intersection within the Conservancy Place planned unit development.
So Connor described to you how water traverses this site right now. That's coming from places like the athletic complex and River Road public lands. The certified survey map that was in your packet would dedicate easements to guarantee the right of the public to continue to flow water across those areas. The CSM would also dedicate to the village area that's currently being used as a stormwater basin in an easement. That easement would, kind of similar to our prior one, would go from the village's right to use it for stormwater to the village's ownership of it for stormwater. So in order to accomplish that, we asked them and they provided a certified survey map. The CSM is nice and clean. The CSM, because it dedicates a public outlet, would have to be a village board action. So we're recommending that the village planning and zoning commission recommend board approval of the CSM, subject to the two conditions up on screen.
Anybody have any questions? Anyone wish to make a motion?
I'll recommend that the P Z recommend the village board approval of the associated CSM with conditions 1 and 2 as listed.
Thank you. Motion by Shannon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'm so sorry, was that a Mike? Thank you.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, let's see. Any other business that lawfully comes before the Village of DeForest Planning and Zoning Commission Chair's Report? I can tell you that our village board meetings are pretty much consumed by budgets and hearing from the different department heads on what they would like. Staff report?
No,
Well, staff report, site plan approvals,
nope,
CSM approvals,
no.
nothing. Development process and enforcement suggestions. All right, we're down to next meeting date of September 23rd. And a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion for adjournment by Doug. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shannon. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. Carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 7:18. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, can I ask, do those resolutions tonight